Saga Egmont presents Black River by JJ Marsh, read by Jessica Preddy. To Ellen Durkin, for being a friend indeed. Chapter 1. Monday and Tuesday were the quietest nights of the week. Obviously, you'd expect Friday and Saturday to be crazy busy, but often it was Sunday too. The good thing about Sundays was they wanted to be tender. Only when the men went back to work on Monday did the girls find a few days' peace. The plane flew in every Wednesday, and that could go any number of ways. Sometimes they were homesick and missing their wives. Maybe they had something to celebrate, or they brought her presents. Hard to tell what kind of a mood they'd be in. If Alexandra had any hope of succeeding, it had to be Tuesday. It had to be tonight. She lay on her bunk, visualizing every stage of her plan, trying to convince herself she could pull this off. Her pulse sounded like a gong in her ears, and she stroked her hands over the butterflies in her belly in a reassuring caress. The camp lights went out at midnight. It would take another hour before the last stragglers had left the bar, returned to their bunkhouses, and the camp was asleep. Just before 1 o'clock in the morning, Alexandra slid out of her bed and onto the wooden floor. She waited several minutes for any change in the breathing patterns of her 3 roommates, then lifted her bag from beneath the bed. The weight simultaneously comforted and concerned her. She had everything she needed: her clothes, a few gifts from her regulars, her toiletries, and a blanket to protect her until dawn. But it was so heavy. How could she run carrying such a burden? She steeled herself. She had no choice. With nimble fingers, she lifted the latch and bore the weight of the door with her arm. She'd practiced the move 100 times, but never in the dead of night. As expected, it swung open with no more than a whisper. Alexandra slithered through the gap like a ghost and closed it behind her. Night air came as a relief after the stuffy room filled with the breath and overly perfumed bodies of 4 young women. She waited a moment until her eyes adjusted to the starry but moonless sky, breathing in the smell of sawdust, chopped timber, and diesel fumes. Nothing moved other than the jungle trees swaying in the warm winds. Everyone was asleep, dreaming of tomorrow and what the plane might bring. Alexandra focused on what the plane might take away. With one last look over her shoulder, she crept away from her sleeping co-workers. When they awoke, her roommates would assume she'd gone out early with her best friend. She wouldn't be missed until 5 o'clock that afternoon, when she was expected to turn up for work. By the time they came looking, she would be far away where no one could touch her. Despite her qualms, Alexandra sensed a bubble of triumph. Her planned route was longer than necessary to avoid Donna Cangida's sleeping quarters. Why that Bruscia needed sleeping quarters, Alexandra had no idea. If Donna Candida slept, she did it with her eyes and ears open. The slightest sound of conflict or fear in any of the rooms or huts, and she arrived as fast as her broomstick could carry her. Usually to punish the girls. The long way round involved passing the other girls' bunkhouses, circling the medical shack, and tiptoeing past the brothel to the priest's place. Wandering around in the half-dark, Alexandra knew one false move could prove fatal. The camp was littered with life-threatening objects and machinery. Vigilance was a hard-learned lesson. She had the scars to prove it. One cautious step at a time. After all, she had all night. The Rio Negro camp was roughly divided into 4 uneven sections. Logging work took place at the westernmost point. Chainsaws screamed, earth movers rumbled, and trees crashed with such force into the undergrowth you could feel the vibrations beneath your feet. North was where the loggers lived, in portable bunkhouses like the one Alexandra had just escaped. That quadrant, the other side of the solitary road, also housed the Canteen Church Cinema building, occasionally used as a meeting room for pay disputes or safety problems. East lay the cargo area.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?